What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, I'm going to go over my most recent Amius kill. I defeated the final boss in the Sintranos city already, so I'm going to show you guys the team that I used for that. I'm also going to go over some alternatives and possible team suggestions for you guys. Also some tips and strategies on how you can defeat Amius as well. So let's jump right into it. All right, so off to this cursed city we go. I believe this is day 4. So I kind of fast tracked my way to the keys. I think it's day 4. So I fast tracked my way to the keys and I got myself to Amius. So I'll show you guys the team that I used to defeat him. So this is it here. Notice that I don't have any heal reduction. I didn't use any heal reduction in my previous team as well. Basically, this team is just brute force damage. If you guys look at the best teams in the world currently, it is strictly brute force, ally attack, and then just big slamming damage dealers. Notice how little turns it actually takes to beat Amius. Amius probably barely even takes a turn against some of these teams. Notice they all run Mikage, they all run different ally attacks, and they all run really powerful damage dealers. So for my team, it's kind of a similar mentality. I opted not to use Mikage. I did have a run with Mikage, and Mikage was getting a little bit funky with Amius because Amius actually has an ability that kind of forces her to transform. So unless you have one of those really fast teams where Mikage is basically just killing Amius instantly before he can transform, she might be a liability, so I don't really recommend using her, but definitely she is viable in some spots. Her secondary form is not very good against this particular boss. So this form, for example, obviously her base form is incredibly strong, especially if you have a champion like Harima or another very strong Shadowkin that she can basically throw into the boss with her A1 on her base form. But her secondary form is just not very good. But she's definitely an option for this team still. But for my team, basically it's similar in terms of brute force. It's a little bit longer because obviously I don't have enough powerful damage dealers to kill him like instantly. But basically I have 2 really strong damage dealers. I have 2 cleansers, and Blizzard comes in here with the 5-star Brimstone. Alatreon here is actually really good. It's like when I went for this champion Alatreon, his kit is basically tailor-made for Amius. He comes in with the protected increased defense, protected shield. He brings a lot of survivability. He has a cleanse with a protected block debuff against Amius. And then this A1 is actually really good. Increase the duration of 2 random buffs. And if they're protected, the increased duration is just really strong. So notice that my Alatreon actually is not, he's not even fully ascended. So I didn't even use like amulet or banner on him. He's not fully booked because you can kind of time his block debuff and you can time his increased defense and shield. You don't need to use, they don't need to be up all the time. They don't, you don't need to use them all the time. So you just time them. 4-turn cooldown, 5-turn cooldown is more than reasonable, and he has no masteries. So very bare bones build here. You can see here, very bare bones build. He's definitely the weakest of the bunch. So you see him kind of take some big damage. But let's jump into the run, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how this team works. All right, so let's get into the run here. Start it up. I'll pause it at relevant spots here. So it's basically to defeat Amius. Amius never really has any different mechanics. So every month, it's just a different set of champions that you have to bring in. The main thing that you want to deal with Amius is basically have some kind of heal reduction. Basically when he has this skill available, his A2. If you place the heal reduction before he places his A2, that means he won't be able to heal off of his big attacks, which, you know, basically speeds up the run a little bit if you don't have like significant damage dealers. You need block debuffs to protect yourself from getting stunned. It also helps to have a block debuff / cleanser to help deal with him placing debuffs on you and then stunning you or sleeping you. So those are kind of like the key buffs and debuffs. You also want him to have decreased attack on Amius, leading into his basically like attack aggro form. So let's jump into this fight here. So in the beginning, I know for my team in particular, he'll open with the A2, so that's why I'm kind of opening with my A1s, because I don't want my damage wasted from his big heal. So you guys might see me do a bunch of A1s right now. Okay, so he's going to use his A2, so he healed up for a big amount. So if I use any of my special abilities, all that damage would have been wasted. So now his A3 is going to be a stunning ability. So we want block debuffs applied to our team, but we also don't want to give him any debuffs because he's going to reverse those debuffs and put buffs on himself. So this is a good time to place block debuffs on ourselves and then do whatever damage we can do to him. But we don't want to place the block debuff against him yet, because we don't want him to reverse those into buffs for himself. Okay, so we're just going to deal some damage. There he goes. He places the stun, or the debuffs get blocked here, and then the brimstone hits him for some damage. That's great. So now we have basically 2 turns to deal as much damage to him as possible before he transforms into his aggro form, and then basically his rotation changes. So here, increased buff duration. That's very nice. Ross with a big slam here. Blizzard is not going to do much. It's just going to A1. And then now Riho is going to apply all the debuffs. Now we can kind of start dealing some damage to him, because then he has defense down and weaken and attack down too. The Riho is very strong here. All right, so we're just trying to chip away some damage. We have 1 turn left before he transforms. So he transforms now. So he's going to strip all our buffs. We do have some protected buffs, so they stay on us. And then he's going to put us to sleep. Riho basically is protected from block debuffs for 1 turn. So that's why she kind of wakes up here and then allows us to be fully cleansed. And we're not too worried about Amius right now because he has the attack down applied on himself. So his hits aren't going to be super strong. Riho can freely place the debuffs here because he won't be cleansing himself anytime soon. So we'll just keep stacking the damage on him. Put up the shield just to protect ourselves a little bit. But we really don't need it. Notice how he doesn't deal any damage against Arima. And then we place the brimstone as well. Big damage slams. And then that's it. Very clean fight on our end. I mean, obviously I have some very premium damage dealers here, Harima and Taras, and they're geared in basically the best damage gear on my account. That's going to make a big difference. Otherwise, this fight's just going to be very straightforward. If you have lesser damage dealers, the fight's just going to take a little bit longer. But basically, you follow the same type of rotation that basically I was just talking you guys through. And you guys should be able to manage killing Amius. The thing with Amius is make sure you guys kill him when that Eclipse counter is off. So for example, this Eclipse counter, make sure you guys kill him when this is off if possible. Otherwise he will revive himself with I believe 30% HP. So we got so we defeated him, cleared the gear. Look at all the 5-star gear here. It's super sad. Yeah, you hate to see it, but honestly none of this is very usable. We got a 6-piece mythical piece, merciless mythical piece, but it's just garbage substats. Look at these substats, they're just horrendous. All flat stats. Skinwalker banner, Skinwalker amulet, the 5-star, Dwarves ring. I mean, like, sure, okay. So it's kind of like nothing. It's kind of nothing. So the gear is just really terrible. Go over the builds here from the team, just so you guys know that I actually used the gear that I was using. Taras is in my usual arena build. Blizzard here, he basically just has a standard regen immortal set. In terms of accuracy, you want for the boss, you want about 500 accuracy. In terms of total speed, you're looking at about 250 total speed, just to keep pace with the with Amius. I would recommend 250 speed for any really important support champion. For example, like a cleanser, you want them to at least keep up speed with Amius. For Blizzard, it doesn't really matter. Blizzard just uses A1 for Brimstone. He could be anybody with Brimstone, to be honest. He's not booked. He has no masteries. So you see here, Harima is just in my arena build. The arena builds are good enough to fight Amius because they're fast. They got good strength. So here's my Riho. This is my Riho I use for Shogun and Sand Devil. So you can notice her crit damage is really high, but she has no crit rate. Basically, she's the crit damage target for the Shogun. Her speeds are perfectly fine for Shogun and perfectly tuned for my Sand Devil team. Accuracy is at 600, basically enough to deal with the Shogun, and definitely enough to deal with Amius here. Alright, she's fully booked and she has masteries, but she doesn't really need the masteries here. And here's my Alatreon, as I went through earlier. He's not in the craziest build. He's in a very mediocre build. He doesn't even have his amulet or his banner. He's in the weakest build of the team. So you see him get kind of low in some of the fights, some of the attacks. His speed's not fully there, not 250, but he got the job done. And like I said, he's not fully booked or anything like that. Didn't even have his he's not even fully ascended for his passive, and he has no masteries, but he performed very well. I was very impressed with him. I think getting him was definitely worth it. I think in a rotation where I need to lean on Alatreon more against Amius, he'll definitely come in handy. But for this particular team, like, I'm blessed with obviously good damage dealers, and I'm blessed with having Riho, which is like a secondary cleanse champion, and also applying all those debuffs for increased damage against Amius. It makes a big difference, of course, but Alatreon is definitely strong enough to carry any team when he's fully maxed out himself. So I'm very impressed with him so far. This Amius battle, I feel, is a little bit it's not very interesting or fun, especially when people are slamming him with like 2-turn teams and stuff like that. So I think he's overcomplicated, and I don't really feel like he's super engaging. Let's go over some team comps for you guys if you guys are looking for some ideas. So like I was saying, you guys need some kind of heal reduction. So I think Renegade is a very solid option here. The Renegade, she has the A1. She has the A1 heal reduction. It's only 25% chance, up to 50% chance, but it's very solid. I mean, it's still a heal reduction on A1 on a champion that kind of doesn't suck, and you might have a 60 laying around. So that's definitely worth considering bringing her. The other champion that might actually work really well is actually Kitus. Kitus, I believe. Kitus has an A1, 100% chance heal reduction. The problem is, obviously, you probably don't have a 60 Kitus laying around, and he's probably not going to be too useful outside of this one battle. So I don't know if you want to invest in this guy, but his A1 heal reduction is very, very good. After that, you're probably looking for some kind of attack down champion, if you guys can swing that. The attack down champion, there are a couple options here, so at least it gives you guys some flexibility with building teams here. I think Ursula is probably going to be pretty good here since she has the team revive if you guys are lacking. She's also a epic as well. Stag Knight would also be decent as well for this attack down role. And then lastly, we're probably looking at some kind of cleansing ability, if you guys can swing that. So we're looking for cleanse, which would be remove debuff, sorry. remove debuffs, so some kind of cleansing ability. Doom Priest will actually work out decent, I guess. Obviously, Riho, Alatreon would be top tier. Sky Touch Shaman is here as well, so she can definitely do some work for you there. Mikage has like a debuff reduction. So if you have Mikage, like I said, she's very useful in this fight. However, Amius does switch her forms around, so it might mess up some of the gameplay a little bit. And her first base form is much stronger than her alt form. But there's some premium cleansers here. I think Doom Priest actually works okay for a budget cleanser if you guys need it. Sky Touch would also be a decent budget cleanser when it has a 4-turn cooldown, but still quite decent. Alright guys, hopefully that gives you guys some ideas to defeat this boss. Hopefully if you guys haven't been able to defeat him yet, hopefully this is the month for you guys. Yeah, lately I've been foregoing the heal reduction strategy and just going straight into just like damage and just overpowering him right away. But of course, this rotation, pretty lucky to have some good damage dealers here, good cleansers here as well. But I wanted to highlight that Alatreon is definitely a very strong carry for this fight, very good champion overall, and even no books, no masteries, not even fully geared out, still very strong. But yeah, anyways guys, that's gonna be it for me for this video. Hopefully it was a little bit helpful for you guys. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, how you guys are doing this month against Amius. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I appreciate you all, and I'll see you guys in the next one.